week we are going to be making Hungarian meatballs by Boger
and smoky fried chickpeas by Aliwax.
And we're going to make the recipes together because the meatballs are very involved. The smoky chickpeas are short and sweet.
Should we start with the meat?
Yes.
Which is ground pork and ground beef. And I'm going to mix it together a little bit with my hands first so that it blends more easily with the other ingredients.
So I'm adding eggs, lightly whisked, and pancetta. And we have some garlic and parsley and grated Parmesan cheese, coriander, cumin, caraway, red pepper flakes, salt, and pepper.
Excellent memory.
I had just enough caffeine this morning. And some breadcrumbs.
So I tried to mix this up a little bit without working it too much with my hands. You do want to avoid overworking these meatballs because they're so nice and light, and you want to make sure you keep that texture.
They're also extremely cold. It's quite a wet mixture.
It is.
I think of meatballs as kind of like biscuit dough.
Oh.
Where you just want it
just to come together.
Just come together and then you stop. Mm-hmm. Because you can sort of pull it together as you shape it.
So now that we've gotten our hands a little damp, we're going to form the meatballs. My hands have already dried. So I'm just really gently shaping them.
We have two different methods.
We do. You're more of a roller. I'm a patter.
Exactly.
There they are. We're going to pop them in the fridge for at least half an hour to firm up.
So I'm going to brown the meatballs. I heated some oil in a heavy Le Creuset pan, and I'm going to add them. And they are going to sizzle.
Sizzle!
There they are. They're cooperating.
In the meantime, I'm just doing some more chopping over here for the sauce, which you actually end up making in the same pan that you brown the meatballs in, and then everything goes back in there and goes in the oven. It's actually fantastic. You don't get too many dishes dirty.
Yeah, Boger likes to chop, but he's very efficient with pans.
Yes.
You don't want to crowd them. Give them room to do their thing. You know the meatballs are ready to turn when they start lifting up. Like when they're stuck, then this one's not ready to go. You can see it's not really lifting. This guy lifted right off of its brown side. We're going to start taking them out as they finish, and then I'll add more.
So this recipe calls for Hungarian banana pepper, which is not that easy to find. They're long and skinny, and they're sort of acid green color, and they have a little bit of heat, not too much. So if you can't find one, which you probably won't be able to, you can just use a mild hot pepper like a serrano, which is what we're using. So I'm actually going to use a method that Amanda taught me to cut hot peppers. Take a piece of plastic wrap and sort of mold it around your hand like a little mitten, and you can use that hand to hold the pepper as you cut it so that you're not actually touching the pepper.
All right, so we're going to make the sauce, and we're going to start by adding the onion.
Mm-hmm.
The onions have browned a little bit, so I'm going to add the mushrooms. The mushrooms are browned. I'm going to add the serrano and the garlic.
And you just cook those for about 30 seconds until you start to smell them.
Next, we're adding 3 kinds of paprika.
3 kinds. This is paprika-licious. We add sweet paprika, Hungarian paprika, smoked paprika, and we're using sweet, not spicy, for that, and then a hot paprika as well.
It dries up everything in the pan instantly. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
And so in there we have fried thyme, rosemary, marjoram, and fennel.
Another one of the ingredients that we just added is porcini powder, which we couldn't buy as powder, so we just bought dried porcinis and stuck them in a food processor. You could also put them in a spice grinder.
And the parsley goes in.
Okay.
You have to deglaze with a wine.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Fun. So the wine is cooked down, and now we're going to add chicken broth and tomatoes.
Stewed tomatoes, which
Yes. It's a little trick so it doesn't splash everywhere.
are nice.
Catch it with your spoon. So the liquid's coming to a simmer, and Meryl and I are going to drop the meatballs in.
Yeah. Ta-da! The recipe doesn't say to cover the pan before you put it in the oven, but we assumed that that's probably what Boger meant because a braise is always covered, and otherwise you lose a lot of liquid because it goes in there for quite a while. While the meatballs are in the oven, we're going to just make these fried smoky chickpeas or smoky fried chickpeas because they're so easy.
Smoky fried.
Or smoking fried chickpeas because they're really quick and yeah, they're going to be done in a flash. I emptied out 2 cans of chickpeas and drained them very well. You want to get these as dry as you can because the less water that there is on them, the less they're going to try and shoot hot oil at you when you fry them.
And these are fried with some aromatics, some lemon peel,
Some thyme.
and some
see right
thyme.
here. And we're actually going to use both smoked. One's hot, one's sweet. We're going to use a mixture so that it's not too spicy. I have this olive oil heating. It's a cup of olive oil, and the way you can tell whether it's ready to go is you put in one chickpea, and if it starts to bubble, you're good. So I'm going to fry these, shallow fry them.
This is great. I love shallow frying.
I know, you really don't need all that oil in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah, it doesn't make a big mess.
Nope.
You don't feel like you're like wasting oil. Yeah.
Do be careful because they will spit a little bit, especially in the beginning. After you get the chickpeas in, you very carefully add about half of the lemon zest and half of the thyme. You're going to use the rest for the second round.
I'm going to slice garlic, which we're going to add to the oil after the chickpeas are fried, so they'll become like little garlic chips.
Okay, so this first batch looks like it's about done. You can see that they're nice and crispy looking and evenly browned. And see the lemon sort of lightly colored.
There's one more guy in there, I don't know if you saw him.
Oh, thank you. A rogue. Garbanzo. I love the word
Going rogue.
So in goes the garlic. So we turned the heat down a little bit when we added the garlic because we really don't want it to burn. As you said, they cook a little bit after you take them out. So
Yeah,
should
so
we
like
call
this
them?
little guy, I think is, yeah, perfect. I like it when it's a little crisp and a little chewy.
Because you still get that fresh garlic taste.
Yeah.
The recipe calls for 3 teaspoons, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. And we're going to use half and half spicy and sweet. Ooh, those look nice. They smell really good.
Yum.
And you want to salt them pretty generously.
It's really good.
Delicious. So the meatballs are out of the oven and are gorgeous, and they smell divine.
Yum. Sit here and eat chickpeas.
So Bogart very wisely instructs you to use some of the hot sauce to temper this half cup of sour cream that you're going to be then adding back to the dish. In this situation, being overly safe is not a bad thing. And then the part where you hold your breath and hope for the best,
Yeah.
add it back in. It's kind of hard, yeah, to mix it in. You just have to be gentle and swirl it around.
Here are our 2 finalists. We have smoky fried chickpeas,
And Hungarian meatballs.
and it's up to you which one is going to end up in the cookbook.
Yeah.